Greetings from JSI Study Center. World Top News, a new initiative from our end. Hope you all are going to enjoy these. So, without further delay, let's start our first slide. Infections rising. Taiwan thanks US for COVID vaccines. Taipei, Taiwan. Taiwan received 2.5 million COVID 19 vaccine doses from the United States on Sunday, more than doubling the nation's stock of COVID vaccinations. The United States had earlier pledged to send 750,000 doses to Taiwan, but increased the number as the Biden administration developed plan to send 80 million US made shots around the world. Taiwanese politicians from varying political parties also thanked the United States, including the main opposition party, the Kuomintang. Let's move to our next important news, please. Brazil reports half million COVID deaths. Vaccination still slow. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Over half a million Brazilians have now died after contracting COVID 19. It was reported on Saturday. Brazil has to date suffered the world's second deadliest outbreak of COVID, and it may worsen once experts. As COVID spread in Brazil, the government delayed vaccinations and refused to order social distancing measures. As of Saturday, only 11% of Brazilians have been fully vaccinated. Brazil has now reported 5 lakh 800 deaths from 17 crore 8 lakh 83,750 confirmed COVID 19 cases, according to the nation's health ministry data on Saturday, which remains the highest death toll outside the United States. Let's move to our next important news, please. Boeing unveils 230 passenger 737 MAX 10 jet. Seattle, Washington. The latest and largest 737 edition from Boeing, the MAX 10, is being introduced as part of Boeing's recovery after the earlier MAX was grounded over safety concerns. The new jet, a larger variation of Boeing's top selling narrow bodied aircraft family, has been flown over Washington state, paving the way for tests and safety certifications. Little publicity was generated for the maiden flights as the company strives to steer clear of controversies surrounding the nearly 2 year grounding of the MAX following two crashes. The new MAX 10 version of the Boeing aircraft will carry 230 passengers, taking aim at the 185 to 240 seater Airbus A321 Neo. Let's move to our next important news, please. COVID vaccines running out in poorer nations, WHO says. WHO senior advisor Dr. Bruce Elliott said the COVAX program had delivered 90 million doses to 131 countries. But he said this was nowhere near enough to protect populations from a virus still spreading worldwide. The shortages come as some nations in Africa see a third wave of infections. On Monday, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa called for an end to vaccine hoarding by wealthier countries as his government scrambled to curb to steep rise in cases. On a continental level, only 40 million doses have been administered so far in Africa, less than 2% of the population, Mr. Ramaphosa said. Let's move to our next important news, please. Imran Khan called Osama bin Laden as a martyr. His foreign minister says, I will let it pass. In 2020, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan had called former Al Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden, the mastermind of 9/11 terror attacks in the US in 2001, a martyr while addressing the country's parliament, the National Assembly. His foreign minister, Shah Mahmoud Qureshi, in his interview to an Afghan based TV news channel, ducked the question on Imran Khan's view about Osama bin Laden, who was killed in a secret mission by the US forces in 2011 in Pakistan. After fluttering a little while responding to the question, Sir Mahmoud Qureshi decided to pass it. Let's move to our next important news. Iran's Seoul nuclear power plant undergoes emergency shutdown. Iran's Seoul nuclear power plant has undergone an unexplained temporary emergency shutdown, state TV reported on Sunday. An official from the state electricity energy company, Gamali Raksanimir, said on a talk show that the Bashir plant shutdown began on Saturday and would last for 3 to 4 days. He said that the power outages could result. He didn't elaborate, but this is the first time Iran has reported an emergency shutdown of the plant, located in the southern port city of Basir. It went online in 2011 with help from Russia. Iran is required to send spent fuel rods from the reactor back to Russia as a nuclear non proliferation measure. Let's move to our next important news, please. Spain confirms plan to pardon Catalan separatists. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has confirmed plans to pardon Catalan separatists this week. 9 leaders were jailed for sedition over failed independence attempt in 2017. Another 3 were found guilty of disobedience but not jailed. Their pardons will be sent to the cabinet on Tuesday. Tens of thousands of people protested against the plans earlier this month, but the government says the move will help calm tensions over Catalonia. The semi autonomous region's drive for independence almost 4 years ago plunged Spain into its biggest political crisis in 40 years. Let's move to our next important news, please. Ethiopia elections 2021. Abiy Ahmed faces first vote amid conflict. Ethiopians are voting in key elections amid rising tensions and a conflict in the northern Tigray region. This pandemic delayed Polish Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's first electoral test since coming to power in 2018. But the vote has been postponed in Tigray, where the army has been fighting a local force since November. Insecurity and logistical problems have hit other parts of the country as well. As overall, there will be no voting in about a fifth of constituencies. The Tigray conflict has sparked a humanitarian crisis with 350,000 people living in famine conditions, according to our recent assessments. Let's move to our next important news, please. Mapping quest edges past 20% of global ocean flow. The quest to compile the definitive map on Earth's ocean flow has edged a little nearer to completion. Modern measurements of the depth and shape of the sea bed now encompasses 20.6% of the total area underwater. It's only a small increase from last year, 19%. But like everyone else, the Nippon Foundation GEBCO Seabed 2030 project has had to cope with the pandemic. The extra 1.6% is an expanse of ocean's bottom that equated to about half the size of the United States. Let's move to our next important news, please. Parachuting spiders leave Australian region covered in webs, Sydney. An arachnid invasion left swaths of Australia's Gippsland region covered in waves as the spiders sought higher ground to escape flooding. A sea of silk engulfed an area in Australia's southeast hit by flooding earlier in June, caused by set web spiders that normally live on the ground looking for shelter, according to ecologist Dieter Hochuli. When we get these types of very heavy rain and flooding, these animals who spend their lives cryptically on the ground can't live there anymore and do exactly what we try to do. They move to the higher ground. Hachuli from the University of Sydney told local broadcaster Channel 7. Let's move to our next very important news. Tokyo 2020. Up to 10,000 Japanese fans will be permitted at Olympic venues. Up to 10,000 Japanese fans will be permitted at Tokyo 2020 Olympic venues, despite warning from health bosses. Overseas spectators are already banned, but organizers said domestic fans could attend providing crowds did not exceed 50% of a venue's capacity. Fans will not be allowed to shout or speak loudly and must wear face masks at all times while in venues. The Olympics are scheduled to begin on 23rd July, while the Paralympics follow a month later from 24th August. Let's move to our next slide, please. Thanks for watching till end. You all are kindly requested to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for latest updates from our end. Till our next video, take care of yourself and have a great moment ahead. Thank you once again.